Okay, first off, I want to apologize right off the jump because we've had a lot of technical issues. My laptop actually just decided it didn't want to cooperate for the first 10 minutes of this 6 o'clock hour. That's the reason why we haven't started yet. My apologies for anybody that is now late because of that, and to everybody on the panel, of course. This is the big one. This is the big deal. This is the one that we've been waiting the entire season for. We started this off in July, and now we're going to finish it a few weeks before February. Yes, this is it. Our final 2019 Academy Awards predictions. And not only are we doing the Big Eight, oh no, one time only, we are going to predict every single category. Hello, everyone. My name is Owen. Joining me, as always, we have Ashley.
Yep.
And we also have AJ.
Yeah.
Ashley just dropped, so yay. That happens. So let's go to chat real quick. First off, Brian says, before we began, and I do want to bring this up real quick, we lost Hello Dolly herself, Carol Channing, earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
I am sorry to report that I've not been able to really delve into this as much as I would have liked to. Obviously, I was working today, so I wasn't able to do so. It's been rough lately. I'll put it that way. So because of that, it's been a lot harder to concentrate than previous years. So that sucks about Carol Channing. It really does. The question is, would she be able to make it into the in memoriam for any of the ceremonies?
Yeah, I would say so.
That's a big deal.
Considering it's a month till the, I think it's a month till the BAFTAs, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me check on the dates. There's plenty enough time to do it for the Oscars. You know, even if somebody died like the Sunday before the Oscars, they could probably put it in.
Right.
BAFTAs are February the 10th, so basically 4 weeks. So yeah, there's enough time for that easily if they wanted to.
So yeah, I do want to talk about that. And Brian, Bry Guy, has posted his predictions on his Twitter page. That's what it is. So if you want to check that out, you can follow him at BRYCROWELL. And his predictions are up here. Will be talking about that on this show as well. I wanted to put him over because he definitely is a loyal viewer of all of the awards coverage, just like names that we'll also talk about, like Mr. Top Hat and Smurfy Boy. There's a lot of really awesome people that check out our awards coverage every single year, and really appreciate that. Welcome, good fellow Tim. He says, this is my first time giving predictions, but he's yet to see Roma. That makes two of us. Obviously mine is because MoviePass screwed me hardcore, and I do not have the funds to be able to watch as many movies as I would like to do. So that's the reason I haven't really watched as much. And plus, the movies that are on Netflix or any other medium that are already out on DVD, I've had so much on my mind lately, I haven't been able to. So hopefully in the near future, AJ, you have to make sure somehow, some way I get on this and actually watch these movies. Get on me in one way or another. You know, it would be a welcome addition to my life at this point, being able to see all these movies. So yes, 1 week from today.
There's places, Owen. You should know the places.
Oh, I do know the places, sir. It's just, it's finding the want to sit down and watch a movie at this point, honestly.
And yes, chat, the places are beyond the pines.
All categories tonight. Woot woot, says Mr. Top Hat. That's a Maddie flashback from a long time ago, AJ. Bring him up in 2019. Yes, Ashley is back, Mr. Top Hat. Roma, Mama, Gaga. Oh, sorry. Roma, Mama, Gaga, ooh la la. Yes, very nice. Welcome, Smurfy Boy. Welcome, everyone in chat, whether live or in archive. We're going to have some fun tonight, everyone. So it's been a really roller coaster year for the awards as we started in July. There's a lot of things that we predicted in July that are far, far off our radar at this point, and a lot of things that were predicted in July that who knew actually would come to fruition. Usually the answer is Ashley, but that's beside the point.
And things that went and then came back.
Correct. We're super hyped right now, cool guy. It is 6:18 here on the East Coast. And Ashley, what time is it in the UK?
11:15.
That's not terrible. It's about the time the wrestling show would start.
Ish.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, this is going to be our last prediction podcast until the big one. Next week, like was alluded to earlier, we are going to be doing our live reactions to the Academy Award nominations. We talked about it earlier. I want to bring it up on our Critics' Choice podcast and even our Golden Globes podcast, that what we're going to be doing is we're going to wait until they're ending 100%. We noticed that our streams never really line up when it comes to the YouTube feed. So we're going to play them after the fact, and we're going to react to them after everybody else gets to. So it's going to be a little bit later, but it's still going to be out as early as we can. And we're not going to make it a podcast. Oh, no, our reactions to the nominations is going to be a podcast in its own right. That is going to be starting anywhere from right after we get done to a few hours after we get done. It just depends on how everything lines up. So. Goodfellow Tim says, I can safely say Widows is now out of my radar. Viola Davis says hello. But we'll see. Let's get started, shall we? But first, do we have any housekeeping before we get started with the nominations?
The only thing I really wanted to say is just make sure to not get too cocky. Because obviously, as we keep saying every year, there's always different surprises and things that seem like almost nonsensical.
Right.
And I was thinking, like, sort of like last year, the go-to example is, like, say we were doing this. So, like, I'm defending if we were to say something that may sound insane to make you instantly say, who would even think that?
Right.
But then I looked to last year when it's like, I'm trying to imagine how we would have reacted if somebody said, I predict that Paul Thomas Anderson gets in director, but he misses in screenplay. We would have probably said, no, if he's not getting in screenplay, he's not getting in director either. That's insane. So shit like that can happen. So
you mean at the behest of Martin McDonagh, who got into picture but missed screenplay? Certainties are not always certain when it comes to the Oscars.
I assume you mean Miss Director, but I get where you were going.
Again, you know where I am right now. If I mess up, you understand why. So let's do this. Before we do this, though, actually, Ashley did bring something up to me offline before the podcast. Ashley wants to voice his displeasure for the love of a certain film that I'm championing right now after never seeing it. Ashley, what is your opinion on Vice?
I don't know what film it was trying to be. Whether it's trying to be a satirical comedy or like a warning for future generations about what Cheney did, or this is exactly what Trump's doing, or it had sort of a convoluted sort of mess of like when they did the whole sort of explaining stuff in The Big Short. It made sense, even though it was Margot Robbie supposedly naked in a bathtub and whatever. And what was that bit when they had like the porn star and like the maths expert on the gambling table? That was the scene, wasn't it, AJ?
That sounds vaguely familiar.
It was.
Yeah. It's like that, but they didn't bother to do anything special. And then the end credit scene, when it goes meta on you, the group that I'm with that went to the early preview, all pretty much unanimously, they hated it. Which is ironic, because normally with these films, everybody in the group loves it, and everybody on Twitter and Facebook, the general people, are like, it's shit. Apparently this time it's the other way around, so I don't know what to think.
Interesting.
Don't get me wrong. I'm putting Vice in here quite a bit. I don't know where it ranks in terms of how many nominations I'm giving it overall. Some of them are warranted. Some of them I think are just there because bandwagoning. Which will be where I normally say, and regretfully, Vice.
Oh boy. That being said, we have a couple of comments in chat. Mr. Top Hat says, and the Oscar for Best Picture goes to Venom. Gasp! It says so right here on the card. And Cool Guy says, Mr. Top Hat, there's been a mistake. Your Best Picture winner is actually Holmes and Watson. And Brian
you actually find it's Whitechapel Road. Yeah, you heard it first.
I just saw the word extra value meal and my eyes lit up right there.
I didn't have the camera on because I needed my bloody spreadsheet up to get everybody's picks down or as best as I can for the next.
It's good that we have someone that's willing to do that, because when I forget and don't write them down, it's nice to have somebody that does that. Luckily, AJ did it for Critics' Choice, and it looks like you're going to do this for the Oscars.
I always do it for the Oscars. I always send the spreadsheet along beforehand, so then you can easily tick or cross off or color it in on your bloody Excel or equivalent spreadsheet stuff for whatever.
So yeah, let's dive into. Of course, I'm the one who didn't bring any drinkies today. That was a mistake. I should have got something, but it looks like I'm stuck here for the next how long? Who knows how long? Let's do this. What do you want to start with?
Animated.
Okay.
All over the place.
Yeah, we are all over the place. I got to find it here. Okay, there it is.
We're going to do animated, foreign, documentary, and then the shorts, and then go from there.
Right.
Okay, you're going to have to remind me when we do that so I can go to the next one because I don't remember. No sip for your snack, said Mr. Top Hat. All right. Best animated film feature.
All right, and as usual, for the most part, I'd say we'll go through them and then explain why briefly, as briefly as we can. So,
okay.
In case some things seem a bit outlandish, like this, for instance. I have The Grinch, Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Obviously, Mariah's usually been the fifth one here.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at last year's group with stuff like The Boss Baby and Ferdinand and stuff like that, The Grinch just kind of fits that bill on top of The Grinch's weird PGA inclusion.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
So I went ahead and went with it. I am still a tiny bit concerned about the possibility of Spider-Man getting Lego movied. But
that could be bad.
But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with it because that would be ludicrous if I didn't.
It's a Marvel property. I know it's a Sony film, but technically it's something to do with Disney. They're gonna love the fuck out of
it. Fair. Ashley, what do you got?
Which is why my 5 are Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I literally just made the change from Smallfoot because it's like, I just realized Disney is trying to basically take the Oscars for themselves. So Ralph gets in, mainly because it actually was a much better film than Smallfoot. But I was just thinking with the whole political stuff, it's been sort of there all the time, but I sort of dropped it out because I think there's going to be one G Kids and Mirai is getting enough for it to clearly be the G Kids resident this time around.
So my best animated feature lineup, before I will go to mine, I will go to everyone else's in chat. Cool Guy says Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, The Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and The Grinch. Mr. Top Hat says Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Brian says Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ruben Brandt, Collector, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That's 6, isn't it? Or is Ruben Brandt Collector the actual name of the film?
It has to be, yeah. I'm gonna guess it's the same name of the film.
Hang on, I need to go to where my actual unofficial Pixar. Did I actually list it? No, I didn't because I couldn't be bothered to.
Mr. Top Hat says Mariah is a safe bet because of smaller release movies. Smurfy Boy says Isle of Dogs, Incredibles 2, Spider-Man, Mariah, and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Cool Guy says Oscars changed their voting in the animated feature category, opening up voting that led to the weird nominations for Ferdinand and the Boss Baby last year. Cool Guy says, I don't feel like Mariah is as buzzed about as the breadwinner and Loving Vincent. And Goodfellow Tim says Grinch, Incredibles, Isle of Dogs, Spider-Man, and Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah, I guess it's in the independent Annies, isn't it? As is Reuben Brand Collector, so I guess that makes sense.
I am struggling with this, and I think I finally am okay with what I picked. The Grinch was the last thing I bumped out, which I think it may end up hurting me in the long run. So I'm sticking with my lineup of Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think it's a safe 5.
He copied mine.
No. Yeah, Brian confirmed that that's the name of the name of the actual movie itself. The extra comma was what threw me off. So
yeah.
Foreign? Best foreign language.
All right. I have Burning, Cold War, The Guilty, Roma, and Shoplifters. Obviously, we've learned in the past. I mean, Roma. When you look at foreign or animated or whatever, but if you look at those and documentary, we've learned before that unless you're running for picture, even frontrunners aren't always entirely safe.
Right.
So obviously, Roma. But as far as like Burning and Shoplifters and Cold War, it's almost like it feels too easy to the point that I'm not sure. But as far as The Guilty goes, obviously Denmark has had like a really great track record lately, and their distributor also does. And it's one of those cases where it almost seems too easy, but it kind of just feels right too. So I didn't really know where else to take that without going too insane. So yeah.
Brian agrees with you on his foreign lineup. Ashley, what do you got?
Mine are in a slightly different order because I'm doing it by the country rather than the name of the film, because that's how they always do it at the Oscars. So we got Shoplifters from Japan, Capernaum from Lebanon, Roma from Mexico, Cold War from Poland, and Burning from South Korea. In all honesty, Shoplifters, Roma, and Burning were sort of in here pretty much since even August, if I'd go that far, because of the buzz that they were getting. Mm-hmm. Cold War, I guess, cropped up more recently.
Right.
Just because of the love it was getting and how it did appear in some of the top 10 for critics over here and overall. And then Capernaum, just because it's sort of, I think, Capernaum's in all the other foreign language ones, isn't it, so far?
It's the one I've seen consistently.
I think it's
other than The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, because it's even in BAFTA. And BAFTA is normally like a year behind, so that's why I was confident in sort of putting that in there. So
Mr. Top Hat says we only support Jim Carrey's Grinch in this house.
Fuck off. What about the original one, you bastards?
It's like, are you not a Karloff fan, I guess?
Apparently not. Wow. So Top Hat says Capernaum, Cold War, Never Look Away, Roma, and Shoplifters. Cool Guy says Roma, Capernaum, Cold War, The Guilty, and Never Look Away. Goodfellow Tim agrees with you, AJ. And Smurfy Boy says Roma, Cold War, The Burning, Shoplifters, and Capernaum.
I seriously considered Never Look Away, but I didn't know what to take out, so I just didn't.
I went very basic and very safe. My lineup for 5 for Best Foreign Language is Burning, Capernaum, Cold War, Roma, and Shoplifters. Safe is not a good thing to do in the foreign language category, but I thought I'd try anyway.
Just because you brought up Karloff, now I'm trying to think of like The Sorceress, that film from like the 70s. Was that like the precursor to David Cronenberg's Crash?
I mean, I do have, and also I could take offense to the whole thing with Carrie too, because I mean, I have Grinch friends as well that I'm close to.
Well, you know, dark crimes.
You don't know Jack. Let's do this. But I do. Next.
Documentary.
Oh boy. Go ahead.
I have Free Solo, Minding the Gap, RBG, Shirkers, and Won't You Be My Neighbor. I made a decision at the last minute because when I looked at the short list, I just said Free Solo, Minding the Gap, RBG, Three Identical Strangers, and Won't You Be My Neighbor, and then immediately stopped myself and said, whoa, that was way too easy. Something's wrong. And the thing about Shirkers is that Netflix has like an undeniable track record so far in documentary, both feature and short.
Right.
And I don't know what it was about Three Identical Strangers, but it was just kind of the first one that stuck out to me of just that it could miss. I can't really explain it. It's just where my mind went. So that's how I got there.
Okay. Ashley.
I have Free Solo, RBG, Shirkers, For Identical Strangers, and Won't You Be My Neighbor. The shocking thing is I've actually seen 3 of the 5, which I think compared to last year, I think it might have been maybe 1 or 0. And Free Solo is just incredible. From how they, getting into the sort of his mindset and also just filming this fucking thing. And then the story of the 3 Identical Strangers thing is like so crazy. Again, as I said, I was conflicted about putting 3 Identical Strangers and RBG, given that they're both CNN films and they like to sort of spread the love. But I'm hoping that because it's a co-production with Channel 4, that's enough to sort of differentiate enough. And yeah, Shirka's in there is because it's the strongest Netflix candidate, in all honesty, which is why I sort of had to put it in.
Brian says, Hail Country this evening. Minding the Gap, Shirkers, Three Identical Strangers, and Won't You Be My Neighbor. Top Hat says, Free Solo, Minding the Gap, RBG, Three Identical Strangers, and Won't You Be My Neighbor. And Cool Guy says, RBG, Hail Country this evening, Shirkers, Free Solo, and Minding the Gap. My lineup for Best Documentary is Dark Money, Minding the Gap, RBG, Three Identical Strangers, and Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Interesting.
Going against Free Solo makes me very nervous, I won't lie. But I'm seeing it pop up almost everywhere. But I don't know, something's just telling me that I feel that RBG has a chance to be nominated twice. And a very good chance to be nominated twice, and I'm going to go with that.
In all honesty, you going against Free Solo is a bit risky if we're going from the cinema audience that I saw it with. Because with respect, with most of these documentaries, there's normally maybe 10 or 20 people in the screen that holds about 80.
Right.
Free Solo was sold out, which is very rare for a documentary. And that's like in its second or third weekend that it was on. Plus, they had, I guess, even more people going to the preview screening, which had the Q&A stuff with the actual guy. Spoilers, he survived it. You wouldn't know.
I mean,
so I'm a little bit, but what I do like to see from our list is like one of us be completely different. Like there's one that's completely out there.
And it's the one that doesn't watch any movies this year.
Yes, but I've heard reasonably good things for Dark Money. And as I say, with pretty much all these lower categories, there's always one that's in there that is the left field one, which comes from out of nowhere. Right. So Dark Money's in with a good shout of being the sort of the random pin for the
Perhaps.
sweepstakes and all that.
Top Hat says the only thing that could hold RBG back is on the basis of sex, but it's still not likely.
From what I've heard of the reviews of On the Basis, it's like the Diet Coke version of the full fat Coke RPG. Then again, that might be conflicting because if you don't like sugar, then the other one might be better. Whatever. What I'm trying to say is it's sort of like a diluted version of the actual like documentary. So
Diet Coke is trash water.
Coke Zero.
I'm okay with Zero, and I'm even more better with Tab, but Diet Pepsi's a lot better. The thing is, when it comes down to it, it's anyone's guess what's going to happen. Like AJ said, there's surprises in these categories, especially every single year. Things that you expect to win, miss, and things that you would never expect to win in a million years are the ones that walk out with the Oscar. So you never know. Are we going on to documentary short and live action short and animated short now?
Yes, in that order.
Oh, that was okay. Documentary short.
This fucking category.
You're not good at these categories. Neither am I.
Well, that's not really what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is usually it's when in doubt, go with the one with the heaviest subject matter. There's one about women in labor camps. There's like two about racism. There's one about a Nazi rally. There's one about emergency medical units and gang violence. They're like all baity. So
there's one about refugee crises.
Yeah. So what I think, yeah, okay. So I should probably say what I'm going with. I went with Black Sheep, Endgame, my Dead Dad's porno tapes, Women of the Gulag, and Zion. As far as Black Sheep goes, it is like one that touches on racism, but there's the boycotting segregation one, 63 boycott, and I figured I don't know if they're gonna like double up on suffering women or double up on racism or whatever, but I went with the one at a time approach. And Black Sheep is something that seems more like up close and personal and like seen through the eyes of a particular person, so maybe that personal factor will help. My Dead Dad's porno tapes, that irresistible title, obviously.
As it normally is with the shorts, when it's like, we don't know what these are, just go with the one with the craziest titles.
Yeah, and also it's one of those cases where it's like something like that, even if it might be heavy on like a personal level for whoever the subject is, it might be a breath of fresh air from some of the really heavy stuff like racism or struggling women or whatever, or Nazi rallies or whatever. Women of the Gulag, obviously, women in labor camps and the academy just love suffering. As far as Endgame and Zion, they are ones that are like have the subject matter that doesn't, like Zion in particular probably isn't like as heavy as some of the other stuff, but still, as far as Endgame and Zion altogether, really just came down to when in doubt, go with Netflix when you're looking at documentary. So that's, yeah, and like Lifeboat, the one about saving refugees, it's like, I feel like we had a documentary short just a year or two ago that was exactly that, or at least close to that. My memory's vague.
Wasn't that, well, the White Helmets was, but that was actually in the war area. This wasn't like refugees sort of coming on the ship sort of thing.
Yeah, but I was thinking there was one of those too, but I don't.
Well, I'm just thinking because of all the, spoilers that's in my list. Because of the subject matter being somewhat similar to what's going on with, is it the Guatemala? No, is it Guatemala or Honduras? The people that are coming through Mexico to try and get to America that Trump's or against. I can't remember what country they're from, the Caribbean country. But that's why, I think it's baity enough. It's so baity, it's Warren Beatty. So along with that,
Honduras.
Honduras. Thank you, chat or
Mr. Top Hat.
Okay. So along with Lifeboat, I have the Antipodean horror film Black Sheep, Avengers Endgame, along with I Can't Make a Joke About My Dead Dad's porno tapes. And thankfully, now topical because of it's actually a scene in Mary Queen of Scots. Period. End of sentence.
Okay.
So those are my 5.
Okay.
Is Endgame the Netflix one here? From what I remember, I think. So that's why it's automatically in there. It's either that or Black Sheep. One of the two is the Netflix one.
All right. So Top Hat says 63 boycott, Black Sheep, Endgame, Lifeboat, Women of the Gulag. Guy says, I always feel sorry for whoever has to present short documentary. Let's see. Brian says Endgame, Los Commandos, A Night at the Garden, Women of the Gulag, and Zion. Cool Guy says My Dead Dad's Porno Tapes, Los Commandos, Endgame, Zion, and Lifeboat. Again,
I'm looking back to last year's ones. I think me and AJ purposefully went for Heaven as a Traffic Jam on the 405, literally just because of the name. Go ahead, Owen. Sorry.
You're good. Documentary short for me is Endgame, My Dead Dad's Porno Tapes, Period, End of Sentence, 63 Boycott, and Women of the Gulag. I feel like that word is going to be used more times than mispronouncing Ariana Grande's name by the time this season is over. If it makes it in. Again, I have no advanced knowledge of any of the shorts. I don't know if there's any shorts this year about the plant getting shut down or anything like that. AJ knew he was gonna go there.
Peter Farrell.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing about it is, animated short is the one that I usually at least watch some of, and I'm just like, this year I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna watch nothing and see how badly I do at predicting.
The thing is, he got away with it because he didn't see Incredibles 2, so he didn't see the Pixar one.
Yes, I did.
Oh, so you did see that one. I
still had Movie Pass for Incredibles 2.
So you did see that one.
I saw a few things that were nominated, not very many though.
No, but you saw Bow.
Oh yeah.
Which is the, annual, oh look, here's Pixar.
Anyway, yes, Brian. Yes, Brian, the last truck closing up a GM plant. AJ and I are the only ones to get that reference, but it's all right.
It makes us sound really insensitive too.
I know. Well, if the shoe fits, use it as a phone.
We were discussing animated short, but we're jumping a bit ahead. We're gonna go to live action.
Live action.
Yeah, live action for sure. Which I think for the first time ever are basically all one word.
Yep. Almost.
Almost.
Okay, there's one let the side down.
I try to use strategy here, but I don't think it matters. This is literally like a roll of the dice for any of them.
Pretty much.
So I went with Caroline, Marguerite, Mayday, Skin, and Whale. Caroline apparently is one of the favorites, and it was like a can and all that. Mayday might be like the one that's not as heavy. Apparently it's like a comedy about a job interview or something. If I'm correct, isn't Skin, like the director has already basically gotten that to feature length, and it stars like Jamie Bell, and he took it to TIFF or something? And Whale, that's the one at BAFTA, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one that showed up there.
Yeah, I went with those. The one that I had in, and then I changed my mind after I looked it up, was Detainment. And the reason I took it out was, once again, this may not even matter, but it helped me switch it up. Apparently it's the one about those two kids that killed that toddler and were, like, put on trial or whatever. And I guess the parents of the murder toddler are, like, condemning it and saying it's exploitive and sympathetic towards them. And I guess it's, like, so yeah, that might rub people the wrong way.
Fair.
The thing that I don't get about it is it's in live action short, not a documentary short. Even though it's based on a real life event.
That's sort of like the My Life as a Zucchini confusion between animated and documentary.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ashley?
So I have Caroline, regretfully Detainment, Valve, Skin, and I'm pronouncing it different. I know anyone know why. Wale.
This category, I need to laugh right now. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, there's the one that I put in because of the name. It turns out it got him BAFTA as well. So,
There we go.
Yeah. As much as I hate to say it, I think Detainment might get in. But if that happens, there's going to be a big old campaign for people to not go for it. And considering, it's probably between Caroline and Skin. And yeah, as you say, it premiered at TIFF in September, the Jamie Bell version.
Okay. So Mr. Top Hat says Caroline, Detainment, Valve, I Care, and Skin. Brian says Caroline, Detainment, Valve, Marquette, and Mother. Cool Guy says, yeah, Mother.
Sorry, I forgot. It doesn't have the exclamation mark, so I don't have to shout it.
I Care, Valve, Wale. That's for you, Ashley. Chocotage and Marguerite. Brian says you can find Caroline on Vimeo.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, Gaius was mentioning that was the Bulger Kid case. My best live action short, Caroline, Chukotage, Valve, Mayday, and Skin.
Every time you say that title, all I hear is Ben Stiller saying Brett Favre, and there's something about Mary.
We'll find out how it's actually pronounced in a month from now. Fave, Fave, Fove. We don't know how it's pronounced. We'll find out soon enough.
Isn't the second one what Daffy Duck says after suffering?
Ask Roman Reigns.
Chocotage. Chaka Khan.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of things for Caroline and Skin everywhere. Everything else just kind of made sense in my head. Again, I honestly did no preparation for like finding out what things were, just to see how blind I truly could be in this category and still see how bad I end up.
Did anybody have Ikaray in their lists?
A lot of people in chat did.
Okay. Because I remember Mother being mentioned, and did anybody have Marguerite?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the picks list where the other ones that I didn't get in show up in the list. So that's where I was.
Chat did as well.
So we've got every nomination covered. There's not one where we're going, why the fuck is that there?
I mean, we still might. You never know. But let's move into best animated short.
All right. Thanks to both Vimeo and YouTube, all of these are online.
Nice.
So before I did this, I watched
the rarity, isn't it?
So I watched all of them to have more of an educated guess, which may or may not help. So I ended up with Bao, Bilby, Bird Karma, Lost and Found, and Weekends. Bao is obvious. It's the one everybody saw. Bilby's one that kind of feels more like the type of stuff that would get nominated back in like the early 2000s in this category. So like, remember when the Chub Chubs won?
Yeah.
It almost feels something like that. And it has like a nice ending and everything. Bird Karma kind of reminded me of Garden Party. Not in like style or what was happening or anything, but just the way it's like really short and really dark. It's like really dark. Lost and Found is both stop motion and incredibly sad, which makes me feel likely. And Weekends is that one where when you go to its Vimeo page and you see the like display screen. It's just a wall of the film festivals that it won.
Right.
It's one of those things though where if you just look at it, it kind of looks like super serious, judging by the animation and all that and the subject matter. But it definitely has like a sense of humor to it. The only thing is, it gets really fucking weird, like halfway through. But when you look at the other possibilities, stuff like animal behavior, that's like it's just animals in therapy, which is like funny and everything, but it doesn't really seem like the type of thing that would get in.
That was fucking Creature Comforts. They already did that 30 years ago, you fucks.
Age of Sail has a recognizable name in it, in Ian McShane, but I think it's just sort of maybe a bit too weak when you compare it to everything else. And they may go for this, but the animation to me was just really bizarre. It's like a mixture of actual paint and PlayStation 1 graphics. It's weird looking.
Wow, so it's Loving Vincent meets the original Croc. Wow.
One small step, it might be too similar to Bao in regards to it's pretty much a parent watching their child grow up. It's a different circumstance, but it felt awfully similar. Late afternoon is a possibility because it's an old woman remembering shit. They love that probably. Once again, though, weird animation. The characters have no necks. There's an empty space where all their necks are. Really, I don't know how to take that. And Grandpa Walrus is just really vulgar and really bizarre, but it was at Cannes, so I don't know what reaction it got there, but it was there. So that's why I shut those out and went with the 5 that I did. But yeah.
Thank you for taking out almost everything that I predicted. Ashley.
I have Age of Sail, Bao, Bird Karma, Late Afternoon. And what happens when you take a cartoon skunk and cross him with a British detective? Pepe Le Morse.
Yep.
Which is Grandpa Walrus, apparently.
It is. Cool,
Wait,
guys.
so that means that when they translate it to bloody French, it's Inspector Walrus? Holy shit.
SeaWorld, get on that if you haven't yet. Clyde and Seymour, it needs to happen.
Well, get a walrus, stick a bloody magnifying glass with it, and just go, yes, yes.
Cool Guy says Bao, Lost and Found, Animal Behavior, Pepe Le Morse, and Age of Sail. Top Hat says Animal Behavior, Bao, Bilby, and Lost and Found, and One Small Step. Brian says Bao, Bilby, Late Afternoon, One Small Step, and Weekends. Top Hat says, I'm glad they added Bao to the YouTube. Now I can WTF on the go. Accurate. Good Fella Tim says Bao, Lost and Found, and Weekends. Is there 2 more? Here's my animated short. I have Animal Behavior, Bao, Pepe Le Morse, Lost and Found, and One Small Step. AJ knows how much I cling to the vulgarity when it comes to animated short. Did really well for you with Logorama. I predicted that one out of nowhere.
Well, I wasn't saying vulgarity is necessarily something to hold against it. It was just an observation.
And having no knowledge of any of these, not even pictures of them, I just went with what made sense in my head. But we'll see how badly that fails next Tuesday.
Are we ready for
moving on? Yes. Next category, please.
All right, visual effects. I actually had somebody somewhat indirectly helping me out with this. I went with Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther, Ready Player One, Solo, and Welcome to Marwen. The person helping me out with this is a dude that I knew through like a movie forum a few years back that I talk to occasionally, and now he's like writes for a website, and he actually goes to that visual effects bake-off that they do where the visual effects branch sees the reels that are presented to them.
Mm-hmm.
He like interviews the voters afterwards, and he wrote like a whole extensive article about what the reaction of all 10 movies was. Obviously, this isn't like a full-on thing. It's, you know, a group of voters, but still. Apparently, I was originally saying that they'd only go for one Marvel movie. So I was trying to decide between Avengers and Black Panther. But then I decided against that. Mainly because he said that the main criteria seems to be it helps if the movie's good, if it has a big name director, and they want to see more practical effects. And as far as Black Panther goes and saying, like, it helps if the movie's good, apparently through that whole ceremony or whatever you want to call it, every time people say what they do about the end of Black Panther and its effects, but apparently every time Black Panther's name was mentioned to the visual effects branch, there was cheering. So that sounds pretty likely.
So you're trying to tell me that Black Panther was Star Baker? He said Bake Off, so that's all I thought about. Where's Paul Hollywood? Needs a bit more bass.
Oh, my dad.
Now, of course, I've also said Solo and Welcome to Marwen, and that kind of takes out the it helps if the movie's good thing. When you look at what people say about Solo, but the thing is that goes into they also love a big director. You got Ron Howard and Zemeckis, so that covers that. But also, apparently, because obviously I really wanted to put First Man here. Like, I really did. But as far as the practical effects thing, apparently Solo has a lot more practical effects than people realized when they saw the reel. And voters just kind of kept going back to it, saying, I was really surprised how impressive the Solo reel was. And apparently, and they've said that, like, no matter how good a movie's effects are, the reel presented to them can make or break them, no matter what.
Right, of course.
Apparently, even though the presenters were good, the reel for First Man was, like, really choppy and hard to decipher, which might hurt. And then apparently Welcome to Marwen obviously impressed people also, and Ready Player One, once again, just has really impressive effects and Spielberg behind it. So I said the thing that helped me also with this was long before the fact, but Solo also made the Guild today, the Visual Effects Guild. The Visual Effects Guild was my lineup, only instead of Black Panther, it was Christopher Robin, which is weird, especially since apparently Christopher Robin had a terrible presentation. But based on all of that, that's how I ended up at the 5 that I did.
Ashley?
So, my 5, relatively similar. We can get to it. Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Solo, A Star Wars Story, and Ready Player One. The main reason I'm sort of going for Jurassic World is when you do look at quite a lot of the practical effects that they did. I mean, hell, wasn't it that first clip that was on Pratt's Instagram of like the hand puppet Blue? That might be enough for me for, along with the other sort of practical effects that you did see in it. And I wanted to put First Man in, but I just feel that Solo is probably more likely because really with the special visual effects, they very rarely go non-blockbuster style. The only time I can think of recent memory was Ex Machina, which won, obviously, but it's normally the summer blockbusters that get it, which is why I'm sort of surprised that Mission Impossible isn't in here, because there was quite a lot of visual effects in that. Well, then again, quite a lot of it was stunts, so whether stunts are technically visual effects, I don't know. But
we go into chat now. Mr. Top Hat says Avengers, Infinity War, Black Panther, First Man, Mary Poppins Returns, and Ready Player One. Brian says Avengers, First Man, Mary Poppins, Ready Player One, and Solo. Smurfy Boy says Black Panther, Avengers, Mary Poppins, Ready Player One, and First Man. Gaius says Infinity War, First Man, Black Panther, Ready Player One, and Mary Poppins. Cool Guy says Avengers, Solo, Ready Player One, Welcome to Marwen, and Jurassic World. Goodfella Tim says Infinity War, Black Panther, Ready Player One, Solo, and First Man. Top Hat says, honestly, don't think Black Panther should be nominated here. I'd prefer Aquaman, but did make the short list.
Yeah, that's crazy. Aquaman was a short list.
Brian says with Solo, almost all except the animated Clone Wars movies got nominated. Guys asked if anybody's predicting Christopher Robin. Apparently not on the panel. Top Hat says, I thought Aquaman's... Oh, sorry. Cool Guy said to Top Hat, I thought Aquaman's VFX were messy at times. Brian says, Marwin, I'm against it because the walk didn't get in. Yeah, that was not right. Top Hat says, Black Panther had a few more rubber stuntmen, especially in the last fight. Cool Guy said, I felt most of the underwater fight sequences in Aquaman were confusing and you had no idea what the hell was going on. And Top Hat says, I liked both movies, so I'm not mad at Black Panther.
I would say there is sort of omitted one as well. And that's Bumblebee. Because the transitions that Travis Knight did with his Transformers compared to Michael Bay was like, you know, Citizen Kane in the Emoji Movie. You know, you could actually sort of see stuff happen and it sort of made sense how it transformed. So I'm sort of disappointed that didn't make it in there. But, you know, Disney.
My visual effects lineup, I'm very heavy on this one because I had Welcome to Marwin in here and I bumped it out at the last minute because I saw all the overwhelming love for the Avengers Infinity War. So I'm like, all right, sure. So the Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther, First Man, Ready Player One, and Solo: Star Wars Story. And let's see, Brian says Isle of Dogs got in the top 20, but missed the list. Up next,
Makeup.
Okay, we have 3, right? Just making sure I'm not imagining things.
I don't believe anything's changed.
Yeah, makeup. Well, because it's only a short list of 7, I believe it's 3.
Okay.
Hang on. I'll quickly see if I can get the Academy, whatever the fuck press release that they did when they.
Smurfy Boy says Black Panther has to be a front runner after Critics' Choice. Again, we never know. We won't know until next week.
All right, remember how I said that hair being added to this category kept throwing me off? Because usually it was just go for like prosthetics and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, this time around, I just went straight towards prosthetics.
Same.
I have Stan and Ollie, Suspiria, and Vice. I do know that somebody mentioned, I think, earlier when we were doing something, that the only real makeup in Bohemian Rhapsody is the teeth. I had until I heard a couple of days ago, I had no idea that apparently his nose is a prosthetic. And I never would have guessed that.
Not as obvious.
And obviously, I kind of like really kept looking at Mary Queen of Scots.
Hair.
Yeah, but then I thought about like what Tilda Swinton went through in Suspiria and what Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly look like in Stan and Ollie, and obviously Vice is like the front runner here. So I couldn't not go with those 3. So
wasn't last year like the 100-year-old man that went out the window and climbed up a mountain or whatever it was called?
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago.
It was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
What do you got, Ashley?
Just double checking as well. Direct quote from the Oscars.org website. Members will be voting to nominate 3 films for final contention for this category. So we are correct. My three are Bohemian Rhapsody, Mary Queen of Scots, and Suspiria.
Okay.
I probably should have Vice in there, considering all the other stuff that it's missed. But I wanted to put Mary Queen of Scots in somewhere in the text. Because I don't know where I've got it elsewhere. Probably not that many places, so I thought putting it in there. Suspiria just makes sense just because of the visual stuff. And I put Bohemian Rhapsody in, but you know, I'm honestly thinking that on the separate scoring stuff, I'm missing a point easily because of Vice, and Stan and Ollie is definitely a possibility as well. Then again, they're just randomly going to give one to Border, and everyone's going to go, "What's Border?"
We'll get to that because that's brought up in chat immediately. Brian says his makeup lineup is Border, Mary, Queen of Scots, and Vice. Top Hat says Mary, Queen of Scots, Suspiria, and Vice. Cool Guy says Border, Vice, and Suspiria. Smurfy Boy says Vice, Bohemian Rhapsody, and where are you? Black Panther. Gaia says formula for makeup, usually the period piece, the Marvel movie, and the one nobody's ever heard of. That's a very accurate statement.
People have heard of Suspiria, hopefully.
His mustache was fake too. Gaia says Vice, Black Panther, and Border. Though Vice isn't exactly a period piece. Goodfella Tim says Vice, Suspiria, and Black Panther. Cool Guy says stop smoking crack, Ashley. Put in Vice. I literally haven't laughed all day. I thank you for that, Cool Guy. Thank you.
Hey, I'm putting Suspiria in because they had Tandy Newton be a man.
You mean Tilda Swinton?
That's
oh,
it.
Dear
Tilda
God.
Swinton. Sorry. It's a long day. I had to sit through the front runner and the upside. Sorry.
God. I don't know. I remember last year. I remember Brian. You can remember exactly who it was. AJ, like Ashley said some random guy's name, and AJ just immediately snapped on him. Was like, "Your call hit. Like you said something about him." I don't remember the context, but I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, no, I said Paul Schrader was shit.
No, it was an actor from last year's season.
Now I'm gonna have to bring up the folder from last year.
Brian, I know you remember this. Come on, you are the historian of the network, after all. So that being said, best makeup and hair goes to Bohemian Rhapsody, Stan and Ollie, and Vice.
All right, it is time for the music categories.
Here comes the fun parts.
I want to start with song, actually.
Okay.
I didn't go with it, but I had no idea till I looked up the short list that a place called Slaughter Race was there, which is amazing.
Damn you, Alan Menken.
I love that the Buster Scruggs song is there too, but I didn't go for it either. I went with this is actually a pretty nothing really that out there because there's always the random documentary song, but the documentary this year isn't so random. So
True.
I have All the Stars from Black Panther, Girl in the Movies from Dumplin', The Place Where Lost Things Go from Mary Poppins Returns, All Fight from RBG, and Shallow from A Star Is Born. I didn't want to go with Girl in the Movies, but when we were talking about the whole name value matters in this category.
It's Dolly Parton at the Oscars. Come on.
I know.
Boo.
That's the only reason.
Boo.
Drat. I wish I had a better memory of that than Brian. Sorry. Ashley, what do you got?
This might ruffle some feathers, but it might not, I would say. So I've got All the Stars from Black Panther, Revelation from Boy Erased, I'll Fight from RBG, Shallow from A Star Is Born, and because I want to go down with the ship on at least one category, I'm going to say the full title as well, not the abbreviated one, from Sorry to Bother You. Oh yeah, all right, hell yeah, that's tight. That song at the end of that film, I was nearly dancing in the screen, mainly because everybody else had walked out because they didn't know what the fuck they'd seen by the end of that film. Which, if you've seen it, and we know AJ has, but he's not reviewing it because, dear fucking hell, if he did, you'd be doing spoilers 30 seconds in.
We do have a segment in this network that we could take out of the mothballs called Spoiler Alert. You never know, we might bring it back.
But, you know, it was so wacky, and then just like that really sort of upbeat thing. I want an upbeat song at the fucking Oscars for a change, rather than like nearly all the other songs being practically depressing.
That's what 2018 was about in music, Ashley. Didn't you pay attention?
Well, not really. You remember our Christmas #1 was a parody of "We Built This City," except it was "We Were Built This City on Sausage Rolls." So I have no fucking idea about depressing music. I didn't listen to it.
Oh, I listen
Apart
to
from
all
A Star Is Born.
the people that I listen to when it comes to like their top and worst, their best and worst list of the year.
And
There's
if
a
you
lot of really garbage music came
if
out
you're
this year.
wondering which Mary Poppins song I would have put in, is obviously A Cover Is Not the Book. That is the best song of that fucking film. The rest, bar maybe Place Where Lost Things Go, are way too as if it's fucking La La Land, but La La Land was less obnoxious.
As long as she gets to perform it, I don't care which one it is.
Yeah, no. Let's just throw it out and just have her on there for A Cover Is Not the Book. Just do that.
Complete in her Catherine Zeta-Jones costume.
Yeah.
Okay. Chat's got answers for this as well. Gaia says, "Shallow, I'll Fight Girl in the Movies, Revelation, and All the Stars." Cool Guy says, "Shallow, All the Stars, I'll Fight Girl in the Movies, and the song from the Ballad of Buster Scruggs."
Hang on, let me get the name for that one. Where a cowboy trades his spurs for wings.
There you go. Top Hat says, "All the Stars, Girl in the Movies, The Place Where the Lost Things Go, Revelation, and Shallow." Cool Guy says, "You need to go to rehab. You clearly have a problem." I'm guessing the crack thing's coming up again.
I didn't need crack after seeing Sorry to Bother You. It's in the movie. I didn't need. As soon as I saw the movie, I'm like, I am not doing drugs. Fuck this. I'm joining CM Punk. Straight edge, motherfucker.
God. Guy says, where all the lost things go, there's the one side where it was whimsical, joyous, romantic love letter to a 1964 classic film. The other side, it sucked. Survey Boy says, "Shallow, All the Stars, I'll Fight, The Place Where the Lost Things Go, Girl in the Movie." Fry Guy says, "All the Stars, Girl in the Movies." Your song from Sorry to Bother You. Good job.
Oh, somebody else said it. Yes.
Revelation and Shallow. Brian said I would have gone with a double nom for Mary Poppins Returns, but after it missed PGA, I don't have it for both. Top Hat says the only eligible song is Triple O Light, fantastic. Welcome, Cassie. She says, "I'll be watching later the rest of the show." No problem. We'll have the archive up as soon as possible, along with, surprise, AJ's top 10 of 2019 coming up tomorrow.
18.
I don't. Again,
be weird at AJ and call it the top 10 of 2047.
Like, I am predicting what it is. Avengers 64.
So with Best Original Song, I just imagined all these performances. And obviously we went with Kendrick Lamar and SZA for All the Stars, Dolly Parton for Girl in the Movies, The Place Where the Lost Things Go, I'll Fight with Jennifer Hudson, and of course, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga for Shallow.
You see, I'm right. No love for Triple Auto Light, fantastic.
Score?
A guy says 18. Never have I heard a number sound so threatening. Yeah. Best Original Score.
All right. There's not really much explanation here. This category just kind of is what it is. I have Black Panther, First Man, If Beale Street Could Talk, Isle of Dogs, and Mary Poppins Returns. The end.
All right, Ashley.
What AJ said. I literally have the same vibe.
Are you kidding me?
Although I will add the fucking drums in Isle of Dogs, man.
Well, let's see what the chat says. Chat says nothing because we don't get.
I mean, in all honesty, I would say the weakest of these is First Man, but considering how it's like won everything so far, it had to be put in.
Justin Hurwitz.
Although I'm confused. Why just because of the Edith Piaf song, is that why Star is Born can't be considered for best original score?
The score has really weird rules.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Just because of the Edith Piaf song being officially in like the score soundtrack CD or whatever, that's why it's not in the list.
Well, Gaius agrees with AJ and Ashley.
Oh,
Cool
please
Guy
tell me,
said-
Owen, he said something different. We'll get to that.
I'm trying to go with the chat first. First Man, Beale Street, Isle of Dogs, Black Panther, Black Klansman, says Cool Guy. Top Hat says
Ooh.
First Man, Beale Street, Isle of Dogs, Mary Poppins, and Quiet Place. Brian says Black Panther, First Man, Beale Street, Isle of Dogs, and Quiet Place. Smurfy Boy says First Man, Beale Street, Black Panther, Isle of Dogs, and Mary Poppins Returns. And AJ said it. Ashley said it. I concur. My 5 are exactly the same for everybody on the panel.
One thing I'd like to know, sadly, nobody said Crazy Rich Asians or Death of Stalin yet. They're going to put it in now just to spite me. But the thing I'm most pleased about, nobody's put in Fantastic Beasts. Why the fuck is it there?
Watch you get nominated just to tick you off.
What,
Literally, it says it on the actual card
out,
itself.
like,
to tick off
knocks-
Ashley Richardson.
and knocks out 5 soundtracks that are actually good. Not wait. Copy the MP3 files from Fantastic Beasts. 1. Change your note. You done it? Right, export it, put it on the CD.
Okay. All right. Next.
Let's do sound.
Oh God.
Which one?
I hate these categories.
We're going to start with mixing.
Okay.
All right, so usually there's at least one difference. Last year we had no difference between the two. I have there being 2 differences.
Okay.
This is also a lot of guessing. So for sound mixing, I have Bohemian Rhapsody, Black Panther, First Man, Ready Player One, and A Star Is Born.
Ashley.
That intrigues me. Because mine is the same. Don't worry, Owen, except I put in Roma instead of Ready Player One. I just feel that that's going to be one of the ones which is going to cross over. Spoilers for next category, but yeah, just the Ready Player one. I think I understand it, but I'm just wondering whether the Academy might go for it. It's always complicated when you get to the guilds and it's like 15 different categories. Best sound using only the chord of E minor, and all that. I'm stalling so it gives everybody a chance to put stuff in chat, so then Owen can read it. Segue.
I have stuff in chat.
Good.
So Cool Guy says, even though Ashley's a crack addict, he cracks me up. You don't watch the wrestling shows, Cool Guy.
I don't want to be a Limp Bizkit fucking song.
Oh yes, give me something to break. Oh wait. Cool Guy, sound mixing, Black Panther, First Man, A Quiet Place, Bohemian Rhapsody, and A Star Is Born. Ryan says Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, Incredibles 2, and A Quiet Place.
Whoa.
Top Hat says Black Panther, First Man, Mary Poppins Returns, A Star Is Born, and A Quiet Place. Gaius doesn't change his predictions at all. Star Is Born, Bohemian Rhapsody, Quiet Place, Black Panther, and First Man. Murphy Boy says Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, A Star Is Born, A Quiet Place, and First Man. And again, just like Ashley, unlike Ashley, actually in this case, I didn't change anything for mine. My mixing and editing are both the same thing.
It saves time, man.
Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, A Quiet Place, and A Star Is Born.
All right. So should I do sound editing real quick?
Yeah, before you go into editing, Brian says sound editing: Black Panther, First Man, Incredibles 2, Mission Impossible, Fallout, and A Quiet Place. AJ.
For sound editing, I have Black Panther, First Man, Mission Impossible, Fallout, A Quiet Place, and A Star Is Born.
Okay. Ashley.
Somewhat similar as well. I have Black Panther, First Man, Mission Impossible, Fallout, A Quiet Place, and Roma.
Okay. Goodfellow Tim has Bohemian Rhapsody, A Star Is Born, First Man, A Quiet Place, and Mission Impossible, Fallout. And we all know what mine is already. Next.
Yeah.
Oh, Cool Guy says editing: Black Panther, First Man, Quiet Place, Solo, and Mission Impossible, Fallout. Next.
Costume design.
Yes. I'll find it. Where is it? It's a tire up. Okay, go ahead.
Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Mary Poppins Returns, and Mary Queen of Scots.
Ashley.
I'm really not sure. Am I just stalling for time because they're exactly the same as what AJ said?
Yep, same here. No reason to differentiate from this plan. Top Hat says Black Panther, First Man, Roma, Star Is Born, in A Quiet Place. From the previous category, sound editing.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Quiet Place, best costume design. Cool Guy says Poppins, Panther, Favorite, Scott's Rhapsody. Brian says Panther, Rhapsody, Crazy Rich Asians, Favorite, and Poppins. And I'll get to the rest of the chat whenever we get to it.
I didn't think of Crazy Rich. I'm still trying to work out how to buy Crazy Rich Asians over here because it disappeared off Google Play. Probably because they were charging £17 for the fucking SD version.
Goodfellow Tim says same as everybody on the panel.
What are they doing? Is it because of Brexit? Is that what you're doing, Google? Is that what you're doing? Yeah.
No Doug Williams talk here. Top Hat says Panther, Fantastic Beasts. Sorry, Ashley. Favorite, Mary Poppins and Mary Queen of Scots.
Oh, as soon as I say that, it's mysteriously now back on sale after being non-existent for the past 3 days. God damn it, Google.
That's what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
I feel slightly offended by that, considering somebody died in a bloody avalanche today in the Austrian Alps.
How am I supposed to know this? I shoot work, and I mean, I have access to the internet constantly, but still, I'm working. I'm waiting on guests. I don't have time to search the internet. Top Hat says Panther, Beast, Favorite. Okay, no. Beast and Asians could easily take 5th place in costumes.
Yeah, I feel more confident about Asians than Beasts because it's just like. But then again, we know that there's always one category. I think 2 years ago was it Suicide Squad? I'm trying to remember what last year was when we were like, why did that win? Were they all obvious wins last year? I can't even remember.
Murphy Boy says Black Panther, Mary Poppins, Mary Queen of Scots, The Favorite, and Bohemian Rhapsody. Are we moving on to cinematography?
Production design.
Wow, okay. Production design it is.
We saved the Roger Deakins Memorial Award for later on. I know he isn't dead, but he's not nominated this year, so technically the category is dead to me.
He won last year. It doesn't matter anymore.
Roger Deakins never wins when he's not actually nominated because he actually put his feet up for a year.
And that's the reason Christoph Waltz doesn't get nominated for awards anymore, because he wins automatically.
Well, no, because he's in a... So I got startled by this when I was at the cinemas last night. It's not James Cameron anymore.
The Battle Angel?
He keeps calling himself Jim Cameron.
Oh, Lord.
What's this about?
Jim
The name's
Cameron
Bond.
sells you insurance.
The name's Bond, Jim Bond. What?
No. Jim Cameron sells door-to-door vacuum cleaners.
Hi, I'm Jim Cagney. Do you want windows? Buy one, get one free.
Good Lord. Production design, AJ, rescue us.
For production design, I had Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, Mary Poppins Returns, and Roma. I really, really tried to put Mary Queen of Scots in here, but I couldn't bring myself to sacrifice any of those 5. It probably would have been Roma or First Man, but I guess I felt too confident in those. So, but production design, I never feel confident, despite the anomaly that was last year. So yeah.
Ashley, what do you got?
Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, First Man, and Mary Poppins Returns.
Okay. Let's see. Cool Guy says favorite First Man, Roma, Black Panther, and Mary Poppins. Brian says Black Panther, favorite First Man, Mary Poppins, and Roma. Top Hat says Panther, favorite First Man, Mary Poppins, and Mary Queen of Scots. Smurfy Boy says Panther, Roma, favorite Poppins, and First Man. With reading in chat, I feel like we're doing an old school Halloween Horror Nights podcast, actually. Well, my predictions are the exact same thing that AJ said, and AJ can vouch for this. I had no idea what he said, and he has no idea what I said. Black Panther, First Man, The Favorite, Mary Poppins Returns, and Roma. Cool Guy thinks Mary Poppins could miss.
And that thought crossed my mind, but obviously I don't want to think that, but
Right.
that's a little true. If it could easily miss out for the other Mary movie.
Or neither one could get in. Who knows?
Probably.
Next.
God, one of the hardest categories of this year.
Cinematography?
Editing.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah.
There's something I even had to take out here that I would have thought was a given, but then I remembered the absolute I know it came in late in the year and everything, but I mean still, the absolute insanity that The Wolf of Wall Street wasn't nominated in editing. This wouldn't be a snub to that level, but yeah. But I got fixated on one thing that's half wishful thinking, half I really see this happening. But I had to bump out something that seems like a big possibility in order to do this.
It's something I didn't want to bump out that I had to, and I don't feel comfortable about it.
So I ended up at Black Klansman, First Man, Roma, Star is Born, and Vice. Obviously, going for Black Klansman, I had to bump out The Favorite, which I felt like was not safe. But the more I think about it, the more I realize how much Black Klansman's greatness comes from its editing, especially the climax. And I just feel like if they really love it like they have been all year, it's really hard to imagine this not happening for it. It's just there's so much competition, it's really hard to say. So The Favorite was just kind of the first thing I thought of to bump out, but I don't feel safe about doing that. And like I was saying, obviously, A Star is Born and Vice are like not perfectly edited, but apparently that doesn't seem to matter too much. I know Vice has gotten a lot more attention for it than A Star is Born, but I'm just kind of feeling both of those anyway. Especially after was it Critics' Choice, where like a lot like Bale out of his speech was talking about how amazing the editing is. So I
guess he must have been on the crack when he watched the film.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah, you can guess what isn't in my 5. I have Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Quiet Place, Roma, and A Star is Born.
Okay.
After seeing Vice, it got thrown out the editing category for me.
I probably would have taken it out if it just weren't for the fact of how much love the industry has shown towards it. So it's like I was trying to back away from it and just had too much trouble doing that. So I feel like that industry love we've seen so far is eventually going to come.
You know, if Vice can get in for editing, why doesn't the front runner? It's just as fucking convoluted and confusing. The amount of that's a film that doesn't even know what the focus is. The whole trailers are supposed to be about Gary Hart. half the bit, you hear half the talking of like the newspaper people just randomly talking about shit before you even get to like the politics stuff and what I thought the film was about. Well done, Jason Reitman. You've done another shitter. Despite the fact Hugh Jackman is actually excellent in the role. It shows you what happens when you're given a really lukewarm script. And it's shot and edited very weirdly.
Okay. Mr. Top Hat says musicals are usually safe for production design. Brian's is Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice. Top Hat's favorite First Man, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice. Cool Guy is Black Klansman, Roma, Star Is Born, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Vice. Rhapsody getting Ace Eddie was huge, and I could see First Man bumping out Vice. Gaius says Star Is Born, favorite Roma, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Black Klansman. Smurfy Boy says Vice, First Man, Star Is Born, Black Klansman, and the favorite. Goodfella Tim says Star Is Born, Vice, Roma, Black Klansman, and the favorite. Cool Guy says I Bail was on crack. Ashley is on Jinkum.
What's that?
I don't know what that is.
I love how many people are saying Black Klansman here.
Ashley is on Super Soldier Serum, says Top Hat. And Cool Guy says Vice is loved. Her the editing is flashy. For example, the chicken wing fly fishing scene.
Somebody said that comment because they know what film that I'm looking forward to, and I'm now not looking forward to anymore. It's coming out very soon. I don't want to say much because it's spoilers.
The one thing I did not at all want to bump out of this category was Bohemian Rhapsody, and I had to at the last minute, and I hate that.
What for, Owen? Was it Vice?
Vice has always been... Well, no, of course. As you always know, as AJ knows, Vice has always been in my editing lineup. I'll make it easier. I have the exact same thing AJ has. Black Klansman, First Man, Roma, Star Is Born, and Vice. First Man is what bumped out Bohemian Rhapsody. And I did a long, hard look at everything today and realized that some of the things I was going to say were mistakes. And before we got live with everyone here, I fixed all my mistakes. Now, when my previous things win, I'm going to get really angry, but it's okay. Bullet Club is fine.
If Vice doesn't get nominated, I think I'm just gonna I can't even punch the air because there's I'm literally gonna be like Bumblebee. I'm just gonna smash the house yes.
Guys, the way you said that, I'm not going to talk about that. We don't want to bring that up. I don't want to know what that is now.
What
Jinkum is. I'm not getting in that conversation, apparently, after what Guy said.
Is that like a variant of Jenga? Because it sounds like it. I don't know.
You may not want to Google it. You might want to Google it when you're alone and not fussed about eating for a month. Yeah, that tells me I don't want to see anything about that. Next category, please.
I'm going through therapy for my hand, motherfuckers. No.
Cinematography.
Yes, finally. For cinematography, I have Black Panther, Cold War, The Favorite, Roma, and A Star Is Born. I really wanted to put First Man in here, but I realized that I had it in place of Black Panther, and then I realized I matched the guild, and I panicked. So you really shouldn't go 5 for 5 with the guild. So, and I knew that I wanted to put Black Panther in. So First Man was just the first one to go. So, yeah.
Brian says Black Panther, Cold War, favorite, First Man, and Roma. Ashley, what do you got?
I have Cold War, The Favorite, Roma, First Man, and of course Black Panther. Because I don't want it to be a fucking sausage fest.
Yeah, Black Panther's not on my cinematography list, actually. I have the same thing AJ has with one notable exception. Cold War, The Favorite, First Man, Roma, and A Star Is Born. So yeah, we're on the same wavelength, AJ. It's just reversed. Gaia says, A Star is Born, Roma, First Man, if Bill Street could talk. Guys, what's the fifth? I used to put First Man twice accidentally. Top Hat says, favorite First Man, Beale Street, Roma, Star is Born. Cool Guy says, Roma, Cold War, First Man, Star is Born, favorite. Bry Guy says, remember the Oscar lineup was the Guild lineup last year. Partially the reason I went with it.
Fine.
Let's go.
Just watch them give it to Vice.
Are we back in the Big 8 now?
So welcome back to July, everyone. Things are a whole hell of a lot different than they are right now. Let's talk about our first lineup, which would be our screenplays.
Okay, now remember that thing I was talking about at the beginning where I said don't freak out if somebody goes for something crazy or potentially a crazy snub?
Uh-huh.
At the very last second, like 30 minutes before we did this, I went for a crazy snub here.
Oh, boy.
A crazy rich Asian snub?
Mind you, I'm also... The thing that kind of influenced us at the last minute was the USC Scripter nominees.
I haven't seen the scripture yet, so that's not going to help me a bit.
For adapted screenplay, I have Black Klansman, Black Panther, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Leave No Trace. Yeah, that snubs A Star is Born. Both A Star is Born and Black Klansman missed USC Scripter in favor of Leave No Trace and The Death of Stalin, which is really fun. But yeah, because I was trying to figure out obviously which one for the last spot between Black Panther and Leave No Trace. But then I actually kind of started to wonder if A Star is Born was a little too safe, despite the fact that it'll still do relatively well overall. And I feel like both of those will have a lot of passion behind them if Leave No Trace has as much behind it as we think it potentially could. So, yeah, and obviously, you know, Beale Street's really fallen behind industry awards, except in screenplay, so I was never going to take it out.
Right, of course.
Especially since it's still being talked up that it could even win. But, so, yeah.
All right. Ashley, what do you got?
I'm sort of floored by the Leave No Trace thing. Because I should be on that train because I've been champion of that since July.
True.
I have a Star is Born, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Can You Forgive Me, and If Beale Street Could Talk. I'm just thinking it's going to get fucking snubbed. The only stuff it's really going to have a chance with is The Spirit. Which is a shame. I hope I'm so wrong and Leave No Trace does get here. Because it deserves it. But I'm trying to predict what the Academy is going to do. They're the five I'm more confident with. Sadly.
Every year you go against things you don't want to happen because of your predictions. And I've done that.
No, I try and think more the Academy away more than personal picks, unless if it's apparently the crack song.
All right. Gaia says just shove Black Panther in or something vague. Goodfella Tim agrees with you, AJ. Top Hat says Black Klansman, Black Panther, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Star is Born. Cool Guy says Black Klansman, Black Panther, Star is Born, If Beale Street Could Talk, Can You Ever Forgive Me. Adapted seems to be more safe. Gaia says A Star is Born, Black Klansman, Beale Street, Forgive Me, and Death of Stalin. Smurfy Boy says Black Panther, Star is Born, Beale Street, Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me. Gaia said could be anything. Remember last year only 1 in 5 adapted nominees made picture. And adapted for Brian is Black Panther, Black Klansman, Death of Stalin, Beale Street, and Star is Born. Mine is Black Klansman, Black Panther, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star is Born.
Same as me.
Yep. Originals where it gets interesting.
Well, the two of you already know what I have here because I told you the other day after the Critics' Choice video.
I can't
Boring.
remember. I need to copy and paste it into the thing. What is it?
I have the favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice. Obviously, I was doing the whole flip a coin between First Reformed and A Quiet Place thing, and I fell on the whole, if it's First Reformed, then I got this right. If it's A Quiet Place, I get what I actually want in that place, so it's win-win. Either
Exactly.
way. So. Though I totally could be underestimating Bo Burnham, but I really feel like he's on the outside of those other two.
Gaius agreed with you, AJ. What do you got, Ashley?
I'm making a last-minute change. I'm going
Not
with the
exactly how this works, but okay.
No, because
He hasn't said anything yet. That's the cutoff.
That's fair. Okay. Real quick, while Ashley's making changes, Brian says the favorite Green Book, A Quiet Place, Roma, and Vice. Cool Guy says 8th grade favorite Green Book, Roma, and Vice. Top Hat says favorite Green Book, Quiet Place, Roma, and Vice. Goodfella Tim says 8th grade Quiet Place, Roma, and Vice in mid-90s. That's an interesting one. Brian said I would have put in the writers. I'm sorry. Would have put in the writers in chat, but there's so many writers for Death of Stalin and Black Klansman. Spurry Boy says Roma, Vice, Green Book, A Quiet Place, and the favorite. What do you got, Ashley?
the favorite Green Book, A Quiet Place, Roma, and regretfully, Vice. I literally cut Bo Burnham for Vice, and I feel so fucking dirty by doing it.
Nah, I think AJ was trying to flip between First Reformed and A Quiet Place, and he made his decision. I made mine. I flipped it. A Quiet Place is my 5th slot with the favorite Green Book, Roma, and Vice. So same thing Ashley said, except I don't regretfully put anything in because I haven't watched anything. Shoot, I've not seen anything on that list except for A Quiet Place. Guy said I forgot mid-90s existed. Good fella, Tim. What? Why? Said the cool guy. And Mr. Top Hat said Vice. So nice, you see it twice. I can see Vice missing for A Quiet Place. Why not both get in? Cool guy. Seriously. Next. There's no way the favorite misses out, says Surfy Boy. We're getting into supporting actress now. And the first of my many changes.
What?
And the first of my many changes.
Yeah, despite that damn Claire Foy getting in BAFTA, I didn't change my lineup.
Okay.
I still have Amy Adams for Vice, Regina King for Beale Street Hawk, Margot Robbie for Mary Queen of Scots, Emma Stone for the favorite, and Rachel Weisz for the favorite.
Okay. What do you got, Ashley?
I have Amy Adams for Vice, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk, Margot Robbie for Mary Queen of Scots, and the pairing of Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz for the favorite. They're pretty much the same. Notice I didn't say regretfully Vice because Amy Adams' performance is actually pretty good. It's like strong enough to actually be considered possibly an actress because of like the role Lynn sort of plays in Dick Cheney's life. So yeah, I can't put regretfully next to Amy Adams' performance.
So there's 3 choices I had here. And I'm sure it's pretty obvious. There's that 5th slot. Now, before we go any further, I have to go with what we have with everybody in chat. Brian says, Adams, King, Robbie, Stone, and Weisz. Top Hat says Adams, King, Stone, Weisz, and King. Long day. Kidman. Oh, there you go. Kidman's the 5th.
First difference.
Cool Guy says Adams, King, Robbie, Weisz, and Stone. Guy says Adams, Foy, Stone, Weisz, and King. Cool Guy says I could see King or Robbie missing for Foy. Adams, King, Robbie, Stone, and Weisz as Smurfy Boy. I hate her name because I'm going to pronounce it. It's going to be the Ariana Grande thing every 5 seconds. Goodfella Tim is Adams, King, Weisz, and Stone and Robbie. And
Just call her Mrs. Craig.
we're going to call her Rachel. Here's the thing.
Don't do that, because then it makes My Cousin Rachel even more confusing than it already was with Rachel Rice playing Rachel in My Cousin Rachel.
I like that movie. AJ knows that. My supporting actress lineup, I had a thought, and I went against it. I had Emily Blunt for Quiet Place. I'm like, nope. And then I had a thought. I was like, maybe Claire Foy gets in after all, because I was thinking maybe First Man is going to start getting some love, which totally contradicts what I'm going to say in a little bit. And I'm like, nope. I finally settled on my fifth, and it's going to be Margot Robbie from Mary Queen of Scots, joining Amy Adams, Rachel Weisz, Emma Stone, and yes, Regina King.
So we're same again.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you were building up to something crazy there, and it was just Margot Robbie.
Well, it was crazy what I was thinking about changing to, so...
Margot Robbie is crazy. She did a decent British accent, which means she's 1 for 2 in doing decent British accents.
I mean, I have to go with the you want to get technical. We have to go with the Batman connection with Amy Adams and Margot Robbie too. What else we got here? Brian. Oh, we're going to supporting actor.
Have we got any other sort of left field ones? Or have we got as far as Nicole Kidman and that's it?
Kidman was the last one that I saw that was kind of out from left field.
Yeah.
But AJ's favorite category usually every single year, Best Supporting Actor.
Once again, no changes.
Same.
And I say again, that's almost alarming. Especially since every now and then Sam Elliott has shown vulnerability, to which case I pray to any god that might be out there it's Michael B. Jordan and not Sam Rockwell. So once again, no offense to Rockwell, just when you compare those, yeah, it's clearly one should be over the other. But obviously the five are Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, and Richard E. Grant for Kenya, Forgive Me. I just realized I spelled Timothy Chalamet's name wrong for the first time in my life. I put the Y at the end. Why the fuck did I do that?
Chalamet.
No.
So you spelled it Timothy. What do you got, Ashley?
Pretty much the same as AJ. Because, hot damn, waste of space. He's in it more than I thought AJ was making out he was in it. But it doesn't help when, like, the last third of the movie, Dick Cheney's like, I need to do all this in a secret location that's with nobody else. So logically, Sam Rockwell isn't going to be in much of it anyway. To be honest, Best Supporting Actor should go for Alfred Molina for that scene when he isn't fucking credited. Same for Naomi Watts. They're two of the best bits. Also, bloody Jesse Plemons. He's awesome. Not so much Rockwell.
Okay. Brian says Ali, Chalamet, Grant, Driver, and Michael B. Jordan. I hate this chat sometimes. It's so hard to read. Cool Guy says Ali, Chalamet, Driver, Elliot Grant. Smirky Boy says Ali, Chalamet, Grant, Driver, Jordan. Brian said finally put Chalamet back in August because I say both of the Sams cancel out. Every year I say that. Every year it is proven wrong. Top Hat says Ali, Chalamet, Driver, Elliot Grant. Cool Guy says Elliot could miss for Rockwell. Goodfella Tim says Ali, Chalamet, Grant, Elliot, and Driver. Gaia says Ali, Grant, Chalamet, Rockwell. Elliot, just feeling Driver is the one who gets in everywhere but misses the last minute. I hope that's wrong. You might not want to wear headphones when AJ does the reaction if that ends up happening. Cool Guy said hot damn. Thanks, guys.
Hot damn.
Smurfy Boy says Tom Hardy only got nominated Critics' Choice and still got nominated, so the same could happen for Jordan. Brian says out there, one Meryl Streep in Mary Poppins Returns. Oh, wait, never mind. Robbie's worst accent is Ashley's favorite Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
I think it helped Hardy that he gave one of the best performances of the decade in his movie. But I don't... That's just the way I see it, though.
Top Hat says Chicken Wing should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Gaia says, I may get slaughtered for this, but I found Michael B. Jordan Black Panther to be fine.
It's fine.
Demonstrably fine. Cool Guy says, Gaius, you, Bry Guy, AJ, Ashley need serious help. And I concur. Best Supporting Actor is still Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, and Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy. No need to differentiate from what I have. Oh boy.
Not that I'm trying to plan ahead or anything, but considering how we're apparently on this trend of actually having good Marvel villains as supporting actors, is it possible that even though it's technically not including the first film, depending how good it is, could Brolin be a potential for Avengers Endgame in 12 months' time?
How fucking pissed would Andy Serkis be if the first nomination for a motion capture performance is not him? In answer to your question, it seems unlikely. But
well, considering how well Mowgli went over. And that's his own bloody picture.
Okay. Best Actress.
The same as I've had for the past couple of months. Yulitza Aparicio for Roma, Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, and Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me. I saw no reason to change that.
Ashley?
I have Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Glenn Close for The Wife, Melissa McCarthy for Can You Forgive Me, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, and Yulitza Aparicio for Roma.
Brian says Yulitza, Coleman, Stephanie Germanata, McCarthy, and Glenn Close. Cool Guy says Aparicio, Coleman, Close, Gaga, McCarthy. Brian says, sorry, AJ, had Blunt all year, have her getting nothing, but her husband would probably get nominated. Aparicio, Close, Coleman, Gaga, and McCarthy says Top Hat. Gaia says, Andy Serkis clearly saw his Oscar reflection as the tit in Black Panther. I read what the chat says for the most part, but I'm not Ron Burgundy. Goodfellow Tim says...
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
You got part of that, right? McCarthy, Gaga, Close, Coleman, and Aparicio. Yep. Smurfy Boy, Glenn Close, Gaga, Coleman, McCarthy, and Blunt. Here's the fun part here. Okay. The issue that I had all along, and it brings back what I said earlier. You remember in December when I made my predictions and I had Emily Blunt in here for Mary Poppins Returns. I also had Emily Blunt in for A Quiet Place. And as things started to change, I started to realize that she probably wasn't the nominee that was going to happen. I had Viola Davis pretty much since day one, and then I bumped her out and never looked back. Then BAFTA happened, it's like... And I have been fighting this tooth and nail, saying this was not going to happen. But now that we're here at the 11th hour, I can say that I gave in. My fifth slot went to Yulitza Aparicio for Roma. Joining, of course, Glenn Close for The Wife, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Olivia Colman for The Favorite. It's not called peer pressure. It's called being sometimes obvious is right.
It's called for being way too similar this year.
Yeah, our points are going to be really accurate. I have to catch up somehow because I'm already like at the
That's
very
why I went
bottom
with the
right
crack
now.
song, everybody. That's why I went with the crack song.
Blunt missing BAFTA being a Briton and a British property is not a good sign, said Cool Guy. Not an
Yeah, but
inaccurate
is it
statement.
British? Is it British?
Yes.
It's only loosely based on P.L. Travers.
Yeah.
The Mouse House.
Mr. Top Hat says, Owen, you have to be above the influence. If you know what I've been through the last couple days, you would understand that that's an impossibility right now. Lots of work. Best actor.
I didn't change a damn thing.
You just love saying that, don't you?
Christian Bale for Vice, Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, Ethan Hawke for First Reformed, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, and Viggo Mortensen for Green Book.
Okay. Brian says Bale, Cooper, Malik, Vigo, and John David Washington. Cool Guy says, listen to reason Blunt isn't getting in. Yeah, we're pretty much we're not okay with it, but it's happening. Bale, Cooper, Hawk, Malik, and Mortensen says Top Hat. Bale, Cooper, Vigo, Rami, and Washington for Cool Guy. Smurfy Boy says Bale, Malik, Cooper, Mortensen, and Washington. Gaia says, as BAFTA's Cold War against Denzel generationally screwed over John David Washington getting nominated. AJ finds that really funny, apparently. We got Ashley.
We're not going to see Blunt for at least another 12 months. Because I think the only film that she's got working on at the minute is Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, it doesn't come out for like another year and a half, but they finished filming like a month or so ago.
And then they had to do some reshoots. I know things. They had to do some reshoots.
But still, they need
AJ,
18
we'll talk
reshoots.
offline about that. I forgot to tell you.
They need 18 months of reshoots. What, is Rock too busy doing promoting for Fighting With My Family? No, sorry, Hobbs and Shaw.
There's a couple things that had to be reshot. Don't worry about it. I already said too much. Continue.
I have Christian Bale for Vice. Notice I didn't say reluctantly there again because it's that good a performance. Especially the bit at the end when he does the sort of like breaking the fourth wall and speaking to the audience. That was a very powerful scene. I hope actually that becomes the bit that they use in the showing the actor bit off in the Oscars. I did notice something when they did it for the Critics' Choice last night, or a few nights back. Nearly all of them, when they showed the actors, were just clips from the bloody trailers. Were they just lazy? Anyway, I also have Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, John David Washington for Black Klansman, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, and Viggo Mortensen for Green Book.
Cool Guy says, First Reformed and Hawk's chances have died. We'll see soon enough. Goodfella Tim says, Bale, Cooper, Malik, Washington, and Mortensen. Top Hat says, I might take out Hawk later. And might not want to. Malik, Mortensen, Bale, Cooper, and Defoe, I guess, says Gaius.
If Defoe gets in here, that'd be interesting, considering like it's not showing up on any other sort of like list. Not even, well, I mean, obviously it wasn't nominated for makeup and hair, but it's like that's a very rare thing, isn't it? For one nomination just in the acting category and not even like nominations in the text.
It happens every once in a while. My best actor lineup hasn't changed either. Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, Christian Bale for Vice, Ethan Hawke for First Reformed, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, and Viggo Mortensen for Green Book.
Yeah, I'm worried about that because that just looks like I'm on the cool guy train, which means I am officially, the Antichrist to AJ. I hope if you can forgive me for, putting Denzel's son in there.
I'm not gonna lie to you right now. It's looking more and more likely that Rami Malek may walk out with an Oscar at this point.
And
He's got to beat Bale, but still.
SJW is going, boo!
Yeah, because the thing about that, obviously, is everybody wants to jump on the Bale train just because of Critics' Choice, but the industry fucking loves Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really got a good shot at SAG. Especially since they're up for Ensemble and Vice isn't.
I think it's a foregone conclusion that Bohemian Rhapsody is going to do well the rest of the run. I can honestly see Malik taking both SAG and BAFTA at this point.
It doesn't help that Steve Carell is just channeling Brick Tannen in his performance in Vice.
And we've come full circle to Anchorman already in like 2 seconds. That's good. It's good timing. Best Director.
Mark.
All right, so obviously last time I was like, hey guys, sorry I'm late, but I'm on the Barry Jenkins train now. Yeah, fucking thanks.
All right, no. For that, we need to get the proper one in. I think you'll find the Barry Jenkins train goes not do like a fucking Stan and Ollie set piece, is it? Whoa, blimey, well, governor.
How weird you just had that there.
No, it's just like the Chinlock horn. It's probably there too.
Content. You don't watch the wrestling content, AJ.
Nope.
It was like fucking Looney Tunes where characters just pull stuff out of their ass that's relevant to the situation.
Indeed.
There's the Chinlock horn. I was waiting for it. AJ, what do you got, Mr. Director?
In case I didn't make it clear, I'm not on the Barry Jenkins train anymore because apparently the industry isn't either.
Right.
So, I have Bradley Cooper for Star is Born, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Spike Lee for Black Klansman, and Adam McKay for Vice. Because I didn't know where else to go. A part of me wanted to say Ryan Coogler for some reason, but McKay just kind of keeps making sense. And like I said, obviously the industry's really taking to Vice, so he's the easy, safe choice. So, but I'm kind of really hoping they get like really crazy with that, like they have with director before many times. But I guess we'll see.
What do you got, Ashley?
Bradley Cooper for A Star is Born, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Peter Farrelly for Green Book, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, and Spike Lee for Black Klansman.
Okay. Top Hat says Cooper, Cuarón, Jenkins, Lanthimos, and Lee. Brian says Coogler's, Lee, Yorgos, Cuarón, and Cooper. Cool Guy says Lee, Cuarón, Cooper, McKay, Farrelly. Hashtag playing it safe. Smurfy Boy says Cuarón, Lee, Cooper, Yorgos, and Coogler. And my lineup has also not changed. Adam McKay for Vice, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Bradley Cooper for Star is Born, Spike Lee for Black Klansman, and Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite. Best Picture. And we have settled on 9. Once again, I'll let it be known that I'm still jumping out at 7 this year. I don't know why. And if it's 10, we still win. That's all that matters.
No, but I'm sort of partially thinking, do we get extra points for predicting how many they're going to be?
No, because I have 10 right now, and we all have 10. We just don't.
We all have 9.
Yes.
We don't have 10.
I miscount then.
No, but I'm saying if you're thinking 7, what are you feeling, AJ?
Honestly, I actually feel pretty good about the 9 I'm looking at. Like, judging by industry response, I mean, if it's not 9, I think it'll be 8, at least.
Yeah, I was saying 8 more than likely. At least we're all different with that, so it could count as a bonus point. Watch it be 10 now.
The reason I say age is because when I look at my 9, there's the one that's in last place is very clear. So, but maybe I don't know. Is this the part where I say what my 9 are?
I realized I just put 10, so I'm dumb. Continue.
I have Black Klansman, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, Roma, Star is Born, and Vice. It's kind of what I was saying. Even though First Man missed like PGA, it'll get, if it's gonna have a 9th slot, there'll be enough tech nominations for it to get it there.
Yep.
And everything else kind of explains itself. I do think I'm gonna have a problem because you'll notice the way I alphabetize, I don't count spaces, but apparently everybody else on the planet does. So Black Panther always comes before Black Klansman. So every time I see Black Panther, I'm going to think Black Klansman was snubbed for something at first. That's going to be terrifying later, but...
Okay. Ashley, what do you got?
I'm trying to put mine in alphabetical order as well. I have Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, A Quiet Place, Roma, A Star is Born, and regretfully, the Vice Mack Truck.
God. I had Mary Poppins.
Now that I'm being encouraged to use sound effects. Oh.
Lord. I had Mary Poppins Returns in here last month. I had A Quiet Place in here before today. And then I realized, oh, I'm an idiot. I made 10 instead of 9. But everyone knows Owen can't do math. So, and I have a song about it. Like, here it goes, dude. But
I got 141 and 2/3 per chance winning at the Academy Awards.
Exactly right. Cool Guy says, I want to predict Chazelle, but I don't have the balls to. I did originally when we started this. Brian says, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Beale Street Could Talk, Roma, Star is Born, and Vice. The backup 10th is Quiet Place. Cool Guy says, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, Black Klansman, The Favorite, Green Book, Vice, Beale Street, Roma, and A Star is Born. I feel there'll be at least 8. Honorable mention for First Man, 8th Grade, A Quiet Place, and Crazy Rich Asians. Top Hat says, stupid thing. Black Klansman, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, If Beale Street Could Talk, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, Roma, As a Star is Born. Smurfy Boy says, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, If Beale Street Could Talk, Roma, Star is Born, and Vice. Cool Guy says, AJ took the words out of my mouth. Mary Poppins is dead.
What? Spoilers? People might not have seen the movie.
Brian said that's what I did with original when I was doing this. Said Black Klansman and Black Panther, but the reverse, I said Black Panther, Black Klansman. So yeah, he did the wording as well. My final 9, Black Klansman, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. So I bumped out If Beale Street Could Talk. That may not be a good idea, but that's what I did for First Man, which, judging by what AJ said, lines up with what I did, because if you look at a lot of my tech categories, First Man inked its way in there. Editing and screenplay, I thought that it made sense that it would get in there, and that's where it's going.
Obviously, it didn't make it into like picture or director or anything, but BAFTA was a really good push for First Man.
I agree. And I think that's subconsciously why I went for it. Now, you'll notice Crazy Rich Asians is nowhere to be found on my lineup. That could be a mistake. 8th Grade is nowhere on my lineup. That also can be a mistake. I went with a lot of safe picks for the most part, but I also went with some like out of nowhere. But I don't think I have anything that's like completely like out of the realm of possibility this year. Usually I throw something really wicked out there, and this year I don't think I did. Everything looks at least probable at this point. Brian says the reason why I still have it here is The Passion and Remember, Darkest Hour, and Phantom Thread missing PGA and still getting in at the Oscars. Yeah, I watched that show a little bit ago, actually. Just prepare for this one. Beale Street, specifically. I think on that note, that might be our show. We will be back here Tuesday morning for our live reactions for the 2019 Academy Awards nominations.
How are we going to do that? Are we doing a live stream of us reacting to it and then immediately stopping and going to another live stream, or?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Damn
We are. So ones that are listening right now, we'll be doing our live reactions, and then right after the live reactions, we're not talking. We're not doing chat or anything. Save all your questions and commentary because we're going to be doing a nice discussion that day.
You can react in the chat to our reactions. We won't read them, but they'll be just there in the archived live chat.
Ryan says, unless they're mad at Jenkins for those who are La La Land fans. Never forget what truly won Best Picture before I moved to Orlando. So, welcome everyone. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight.
Welcome everyone. Oh God, it fucking.
You have to understand. That's all I'm going to say to you right now. Ashley, where are we finding on social media?
I'm on Twitter. Ash is my name, UK.
AJ cannot be found on social media, but and a nice little segue. He can be found tomorrow giving his 2018 top 10 list, best of the year, which is going to be coming out tomorrow. And I work at 10:30, so I mean, technically, I can get it up real early. If I'm still awake at midnight, it'll go up at midnight. That's a shoot. But either way, it'll be up tomorrow. Ashley will have his top 10 up in the very near future as well. And if you guys want to give your shouts to what your top 10 is and what you predict for the Oscars, go ahead, leave a comment below. You're more than welcome to do so. Follow me on Twitter at Soro and Disney. And if you want to check out our Facebook fan page that I promise eventually I will update, it's under Popcast Network on Facebook. So, yeah. Once again, we will see you guys and girls out there on Tuesday morning. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
God damn it.